everybody, and welcome to the Goodman podcast. It's so good to have today a very, very inspirational person, Alisara, or referred to as Dear, who has, in the last few months, transformed the lives of a lot of people in EO and beyond, especially EO Bangkok chapter. So, Dear, tell us about yourself. Who is Dia? What you've been up to? A little bit about your personal background as well would be great. So over to you, Dia. Who is Dia?
สวัสดีค่ะ Hi. My name is Alisara, or you can easily call me Dia. So I work. I currently I'm working in EO. About 6 months. Yes, but my previous work is like I work in the non-profit organization field. I work with the community engagement in the another province in Thailand and the working in the environment and wildlife field. My part is like a behind the scene team because I in Thai we say people like me is like a duck because duck can swim and can fly but didn't specialize or in one part, so I'm kind of that person. And yes, I work in non-profit organization because I have a passion of helping people and make the society to be better. Yes, that's me. And now I'm here in VO.
That makes a lot of sense, Dia, and thank you for all your service to EO, and I thank you tremendously for it. One thing I noticed about when we work together is that obviously you are meticulous at your administration jobs, your roles. How do you go about this? How did you learn to be so organized and be so good at admin? Tell me a little bit about how do you think about administration and how did you clean yourself in that space?
Um, I think I'm learning by doing because I I work in the small organization before. I think when I start working, I always work in the startup or the small organization. So I don't need no I don't need I don't have the mentor to teach me. So when I work, I have a like the task that I need to done and or complete it. So that's why I have to find how to do that. So I'm learning by doing, and maybe it's because myself is like I have a kind of high self discipline. I'm not sure that this this word, but I have a like a task daily task for me to be done. So it's kind of just natural.
So tell me, obviously there is a task to be done, and then there's a real world outcome, which is the event which goes really well, or the board meeting is to be organized. How do you bridge the gap between these two things? What I mean is, how do you think from, okay, I have to get this task done, which is going to take, maybe 2 months to complete because this event is happening in 2 months' time. What is your internal process you follow to get that?
Okay, so I will look at the deadline first, like the event maybe in 2 months. So I need to list all the things that I must do for the preparation in advance, and then I try to assume how much this process I will take in on it. Like sometimes book the venue or maybe coordinate with the outside organization. Maybe my experience is sometimes like a month so that I have a deadline for this task. That just look at the final and then look at backward how much time I need for any task.
Understood. And do you use something like Excel or a project management tool to organize it, or is it more like tasks like post-it notes? I mean, how do you go about the
Actually,
process?
I just use the Google Calendar. Yes, and put my stuff on it. Which day should I? If you see in my calendar, there will be a lot of tasks in there.
That's amazing. I guess we all have a system in which we follow. And I guess you found Google Calendar to be your system.
Actually, in the past, I kind of manual person. I have a book with a tick that I wrote it. But when I grow up and work in many multiple things, it maybe confused me. So yeah, I kind of learn about using technology to help me.
Of course. And the good part is that if you lose the book, you still have a backup
Yes,
option.
yes. And I don't need to carry anything with me. Just my
That's
phone.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, that is obviously this new world of administration, which you're part of now more so than before. Tell me a little bit about the environmental initiatives which you were involved in. Obviously, that was in the past, and we are coming to a time where maybe the next generation will never see the wildlife which we have seen as kids, for example. What is your thought on that, and how tell me why you got involved in environmental causes in the first place?
So I think it's because my parents, I mean, they took me like travel in the uh, wildlife sanctuary or national park, and I just learned how to. I mean, I understand the nature, the environment. That's why I love it because I understand and see how important this is and how we connect with each other. I mean, human and those things. So that's why I kind of care. And then I got the opportunity in the university to do the environmental club. Yeah, we organized the camping for youth in around Thailand, and then I got lucky to work in the non-profit organization. And but as you know that I'm not graduated from the bio or scientific, so I'm just happy to be like one of the team that work behind and be like a support to make it happen.
Understood. And obviously, I salute you for doing this because we need somebody who's working on the environment as well. And a lot of us are not, unfortunately, which is making it worse for humankind. But you are somebody who's worked in the past, and I'm guessing you still do some work in your own way to save the environment. Obviously, the environment currently is facing a very unique challenge. How do you see it from as somebody who's worked before in the environmental focused agencies or organizations? How do you see the current and the future of environment, for example?
You mean the obstacle of
Obstacle, the opportunities, I guess anything we might observe from your perspective, which will be unique to our audience.
mhm. I think in the past before we have, today we have social media and people can, uh, learn from any platform. But in the past, they just like news and just we talk like talking each other and no like a visual thing that make them realize how 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 bad of the problem right now. And in the past, I think for the environmental, the real problem is that uh, between people and uh, wildlife or environment, people that mean not us, but I mean some underprivileged, you know. I think this is like in Thailand. I'm not sure what about uh, worldwide, but in Thailand, is I have this problem because underprivileged. They just live our life daily, so they don't have time to think about others. But for us or those who work in here, we sometimes don't understand why they're still doing this, like burning the grass or something like that. That we have a problem with the fire in north or the eastern part because they don't have money and they didn't care about that. They can just oversell because they didn't have any something to eat or just something like that. I the good thing for me is that I work with community before I work in environmental, so I can understand this and talk with my team about the real problem that we have to solve first, something like that. But right now, today, we have a social media, we have a visual thing. So I think most of people like realize how important it is more. And even the underprivileged, they kind of know what is bad or good for their action and try to solve to get the equal way.
No, absolutely agree with you. Yeah, you're right in many ways. It is when you have the ability to think outside your 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 main challenges right now, and then you can think about the environment when you're so into making that living. I can imagine that is there's a challenge. So from your experience in this space, what do you think is required to do with perhaps people who are in that underprivileged community? What can we do to help them, or what is being done? Was that, obviously I don't have much knowledge about the way the insights you have, so love to hear what do you believe we can do to actually change that, and maybe make them as aware or as in tune as we are.
Um, for my experience, uh, the best thing is like we go go there and talk with them, not just blame their action, but just talk and listen to them. I I have talked to the community in I think Kanchanaburi before, and they I understand them. Like they said, fire with fire is easy because there is no need to use money. Because most of environment team suggest to use the machine, but machine that they need to buy it. So I understand because I talk with them, and to solve the problem of this conflict is like we suggest another way for them, like in the northern part about uh, the organization suggests them to plant the coffee tree instead of the I'm not sure in English it's like a cane.
Cane, yes, sugar cane,
A
yeah,
sugar cane
yeah, yeah.
instead of sugar cane or something like that, and they have the income.
Gotcha. Understood. So yeah, I can see that. Then they'll have less waste and less something to burn. And just for people who are not aware, just to set some context, obviously in the northern parts of Thailand, and you mentioned eastern parts as well, you know, there's a community which is burning crops at the end to make the land more fertile and to then grow the next season. And that smoke then comes all the way to Bangkok and beyond, and you'll see sometimes visibility is almost zero, and it's all basically smoke, which is obviously a massive challenge. Saying that, I feel that even in the city we are not doing our level best. Now just let me give you a comparison. As I lived before in London, we had to recycle all the trash. So if it's plastic, you put in different trash. If it's organic, you put in different trash. But over here, I noticed there's a lot of plastics being used, even like carry bags of plastic, which is banned all over Europe, and I believe in the US for many years now. So, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we are not educated yet, or even we aren't doing what we can do for the environment. Any thoughts on that, dear?
About the plastic pollution in
Example, and
town.
what we can do, because I don't think we are doing our level best in the
Oh.
cities. We are educated apparently, and we have resources, and we still aren't doing our level best.
I think it's like if in individual section to help with the society or about the plastic, I think it need to I want to say you have to force yourself a little bit. I mean, because using plastic is easy, but sometimes if you really want to help, you have to force yourself to uh not make like that easy, like using plastic and just throwing up. You just uh force yourself to do that. Like for me, if I work in my uh my area, if I go lunch, I will take the Tupperware a plate. Even I sometimes I lazy and I think I don't want to carry anything with me, but when I think about how I can help just a little, I know myself don't make any change in this, but if everyone think about it, so there will be a lot of a big change, I believe.
I understand. Absolutely. I think every little helps. Everything we can do will help the environment. So I completely agree with you that it is paramount that we do our bit, follow example, and take Tupperware with us to the office, for example, or when you go out. So it completely makes sense. What do you feel from your experience we at EO can do to help the environment, especially in EO Bangkok Metropolitan? What can we do as members to help the environment even more?
Okay, I think the easy way is like we corrupt with the organization that work in this field, because sometimes when we do a CSR, I'm not sure
CSR?
the
Yeah.
the, the
Corporate
long
social responsibility. Corporate social
yes
responsibility. Yeah.
this one. I mean, in Thailand sometimes CSR is just like doing it, but not uh keeping track of the results or thing, and sometimes it make it worse than do nothing. Sometimes do it worse than yeah. And so my thought is like, if we want to help in this, first thing that we can grab with the organization that really work in this field, because they have research and they know what is best to do that one thing. And the second thing is maybe we just uh, encourage members to maybe change their habit in daily life. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I think one thing that reminded me was that things we don't measure never gets done
Mm,
because we don't have a way to know the impact we make. So
yes.
absolutely, I can see that many organizations would be much better equipped to help with
Mm.
change than if we just do it ourselves, for example. That makes a lot of sense. Now let's go back into a little bit more of the administration part and talk about EOs just now. Obviously, you've joined EO for some time. You've been, I'm guessing you've been doing a lot of training with EO regional and maybe some EO global. Anything you have learned recently which could be interesting for the audience as well, which perhaps we can learn from you? So anything you have learned from the last few months at EO and maybe from your roles at the moment or regional or global, which you can share with us.
I'm not sure that is maybe everyone might know about this, but for me it's kind of like it encouraged me. I mean, I work in EO and I got this. To be honest, I don't have much knowledge about the business. Even I graduated in English business English, but I didn't work in this field yet, so I'm not have the much knowledge about this. But when I joined EO and I sometime not sometime but every time when we have like an event or learning event or even just you guys just social and chit chat something, I learn everything from that because I listen. And I think the one that I afraid before is like, I mean, I have a idea of doing a business in my hometown in Krabi, but before that I didn't. I think I scared to think to build business because I don't know about it. I don't know about maybe profits or loss or something like that. But when I join EO and I listen to you guys or the learning event, I think one thing that I know that we have to brave to think big. Even you don't know that is it gonna be okay or not, but first you have to believe in yourself and then just look at the way or the process of doing it to be the actual thing. Yeah, this is what I I learned from joining PO, and it's quite inspired me. I mean, I talk about this to my family that maybe I can, you know, doing some business in my hometown when you are retired and you can go there and I can help with that. That's what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. By the way, I didn't even know you're from Krabi, so that's one of my favorite
Yeah,
places to actually go and visit. It's a lovely spot. I've only been there once or twice, but I must say it's a very nice
oh,
spot. Okay, but for people who don't know, Krabi is a the seaside,
southern. Yes,
southern part, seaside place, beautiful place, very calm, not as busy as Phuket, and it's
yes.
for me it's a nice space. It's a very calming space, and that's amazing. Well, on that note, also about business, I think when I finished university, I didn't know anything about business either. I was still trying to learn. So I think it's the only way to learn business is not to go to school or university. It's to just go and do it, right? Just like everything else in life, like you've done the admin role, for example. You just go and do it instead of trying to find the best book.
Ah, yes.
Best book to find is like, oh, read this big book about administration, and then when you go back to the admin role, you're like, hey, I don't understand anything. So you just go and do it, right? That's amazing. I love that experience. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Obviously, when you do the admin role, you look at the chapter manager role, you must have a lot of challenges you face as well. How do you, I mean, one thing I noticed about you is you're always smiling. How do you keep yourself in that sort of happy mode? Because you think about me, I'm just like, oh boy, I'm stressed right now. I need to show this stress right now. But you're always happy and smiling. What's how do you manage that? And what's the secret to your happy, smiley way of being?
Oh, it's a hard question. Uh, maybe because I try to keep balance, try to keep balance in my life with work, my uh private life or friends or family. I try to keep it balanced, and I think everything that I did, I think is quite. I think it. I think it's good to do. So every time that even I action, I say something like this. Yes. So I'm not feel regret for my action. So every time that I even I work or met people, so I think it's a good opportunity and it happened for a reason. And for about coping with the pressure in working, I think it's I am for me it's like a learning stage as well to manage your emotion, and sometimes I have to separate about emotion and the real meaning. Sometimes like first I have met like can I example the name Beck. Beck sometimes talk like a really dialect, sometimes like I don't know, he angry to me, but when I talk to him every time and I realize that the real meaning is not that what I thought. The real meaning is he care, he try to teach me or something like that. So I separate it, try to separate about emotion and the real meaning.
That's amazing. I'm really impressed. At a very sort of early stages, you're able to separate the what is personal and what's not personal, and be able
Yes.
to separate that. This is professional environment, and it's not people are not angry or upset. It's just maybe how one comes across. I mean, sometimes when I say something, it might come across a bit negative. Actually, I don't mean to be negative. I'm I'm just saying what I'm saying because I'm that time I'm thinking about it, right? So no, it's really good that you're thinking in that way. It's not it's not negative. Actually, it's just a perception thing, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Makes
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of sense.
that perception. Yeah, I think that's first. The perception to look at things that come to me.
Absolutely, absolutely, makes a lot of sense. Right, so we're coming towards the end of our podcast, and we've got some really good ideas from you, dear. Thank you so much for sharing that. One thing I want to ask you is, how has EO made an impact in your life? Now, obviously, you already mentioned this, you already answered this question a little bit, but I'd like to just dwell that a little bit further. Obviously, as members, EO members, entrepreneurs organization members, we have a different journey. I often wonder, on the other side, as somebody as full-time staff, how does it impact you, and how is that experience for yourself?
Yeah, I have mentioned about EO encouraged me to think big. I will not say in that part because I talked already, but for me it's like met many people in the many fields, not just EO Bangkok, but I also uh, talk with the global and regional as well. And I learn from them for because we share what what we have faced and how we uh, manage with the problem that we face. So that I learn from them by sharing anything and working in EO is like I think like I'm kind of like a EO is like a teacher right now, and I am student because every event or every time we have met, I learn a lot because it's not the thing that I familiar with that I talk to you in this film, so it's kind of new thing for me. Even today, right now, I go to uh like the upcoming event tomorrow. Yes, it's gonna be like a new.
That's awesome. I think that mindset of learning and growing, that is a awesome asset or skill you have there. And thank you for sharing so openly and transparently about your journey so far, learning about your experience from environments and how you transform that into administration and management, and that you understand that, which is a noble skill to have, that there are challenges in life, but it's okay to think separate them from a attack on ourselves, but actually it's just people correspond and discuss and talk differently. And also your ability to actually separate and have a balance in life, which is amazing. So I thank you so much for your time, dear. It's a real asset to have you in your Bangkok and be working with you, and I hope to be working very closely with you July onwards as I take in that new role. So thank you so much for making all of us so have the ability for all of us to learn so much and grow so much because of you. So, dear, cup and cup for all the help, and appreciate all the hard work you've been doing, and to many, many more years of fantastic growth. And hopefully, as you grow and you start your own business, you join EO as a member.
Yay! Thank you for inviting me as well, and thank you for um, you know choose me for working in this role. Yes, I appreciate that.
Absolute pleasure. I mean, I know we did it right when we got you in. So thank you for that.
I'll do
Excellent.
my best.
I know you will. I know you will. I know you're rocking the boat already. So well done, you. Excellent. Thank you, dear, once again, and a lot of success to you. And for viewers, if you want to hear more journeys like theirs, do tune into the Goodman podcast. And if you are in Bangkok or Thailand, look at EO Bangkok Metropolitan. It is a group of aspirational entrepreneurs with even everybody in the team is there to learn and grow. Dear is a prime example. She's come in as as chapter manager. I mean, her mindset is to grow and make a better life for herself and the people around her. So thank you once again for this year, and look forward to catching up very soon.